Good morning, live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next hour. Donald Trump directs the Pentagon to use all available funds to pay the military by October 15th, slams Democrats for holding national security hostage. Israeli hostages to be freed from Gaza before peace summit in Egypt. World leaders, including UN chief, to attend the summit to be chaired by Trump and al-Sisi. Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand to visit India on Sunday. Trade, security and energy on agenda. And in ICC Women's World Cup, hosts India to face seven-time champions Australia in Visakhapatnam. US President Donald Trump announced on Saturday he has directed the Pentagon to use all available funds to ensure that US military personnel are paid by October 15th. Amid a partial government shutdown, Trump slammed the Democrats for holding national security hostage over budget negotiations, accusing them of endangering troops. Trump instructed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to shift about $8 billion from other accounts to cover payroll, bypassing the Congress. This follows failed talks on funding bills, with essential services continuing, but many federal workers furloughed. No immediate response from the White House press office, but Pentagon officials confirmed preparations to execute the order. Legal experts are debating the move as the shutdown persists into its second week. Non-essential government work in the US stopped after September 30th deadline for Congress to pass a new funding bill, with Senate Democrats repeatedly blocking a Republican resolution to reopen federal agencies since then. Republicans are proposing an extension of the current budget with the same spending levels, while Democrats are calling for an extension of subsidies for health insurance for low-income households. Several Democratic votes are required to pass a budget despite the Republican majority. But Trump has rejected any negotiations with the opposition on health issues without reopening the federal government as a prerequisite. Illinois State Police moved in to detain protesters after declaring an unlawful assembly outside of U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement facility in Broadview, Illinois on Saturday. Protesters gathered outside the ICE premises, clashing with police decked in riot helmets and holding wooden batons. Demonstrators scuffled with officers as lines of police advanced. Some arrests were made. Police later pulled back as protesters regrouped at their original gathering point. Meanwhile, a federal appeals court on Saturday rejected the Trump administration's request to immediately allow deployment of National Guard troops to Illinois. The court ruled the hundreds of National Guards troops sent to Chicago can remain in Illinois but cannot be deployed. The appellate decision allows the deployment of troops to remain paused until the court can hear further arguments. As for similar troop deployment in Democratic-ruled Portland, Oregon, a three-member appeals court panel was weighing whether to lift another judge's temporary block of the mobilization. The deployment in Chicago involves 200 National Guard troops from Texas, 300 from Illinois, with the initial mobilization period of 60 days. Illinois and Oregon are not the first states to file legal challenges against the Trump administration's extraordinary domestic use of National Guard. They follow in the footsteps of California, which sued Trump administration after National Guard was deployed in Los Angeles earlier this year. Let's turn to updates from West Asia. Thousands of Gazans streamed north along the coast on Saturday, back to their abandoned homes as ceasefire between Israel and Hamas entered into second day. A steady stream of people, the vast majority on foot, crammed onto coastal road in central Gaza, heading north to see what might remain of their homes. It was a repeat of emotional scenes from an earlier ceasefire in January. Others headed to different parts of the Gaza in the south. US President Trump and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi will chair an international summit to discuss Trump's proposal to end the Gaza conflict in Sharm el-Sheikh on Monday. The meeting will involve leaders from more than 20 countries, including French President Macron, UK Prime Minister Starmer. Prime Ministers of Italy and Spain will also attend the summit. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has also confirmed his attendance. The Egyptian presidency, in a statement, said the meeting will aim to end the Gaza conflict, enhance efforts to achieve peace and stability in West Asia, and usher in a new era of regional security and stability. Meanwhile, Hamas said it will begin releasing Israeli hostages before Trump chairs an international summit in Egypt on his peace plan for the region. As part of the deal's first phase, Hamas will free the captives, 20 of whom Israel believes are still alive, in exchange for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners. Meanwhile, hundreds and thousands of people attended a rally in Tel Aviv ahead of expected release of Israeli hostages by Hamas. Participants expressed hope that it would be the last rally of its kind, as everyone hopes that the hostages will return as provided in the agreement to end the Gaza conflict, despite the remaining gaps in the following stages of the talks. Addressing the crowds, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said the hostages are coming home. He praised Donald Trump for making Gaza ceasefire and hostage return possible.
We all owe a debt of deep gratitude to President Trump. In the worst of times, he refused to accept the idea that peace in the Mideast was out of reach. He brought together nations once divided by generations of conflict and showed us that shared peace is stronger than shared pain. History will remember that when others doubted, President Trump believed.
For 2 years, we are waiting for this day, for this moment. It's very, very exciting us. All of us feel happy for the family, for the hostages. That's finally, we hope, finally we will see all of them earlier as possible. And we think that without the President Trump, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen.
Wow, it's unbelievable. Like this moment should have been 2 years and a few days ago. Like it never should have happened, but if it happened, we should have released all our hostages, just the normal people like me. I think about my children, my 2 sons, and it's a situation that we had to bring everyone home 2 years ago, but it's better 2 years later than never, and it's such a special moment for us to have everyone home.
U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner visited Gaza on Saturday as post-conflict planning ramped up. Witkoff and Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, who helped negotiate the agreement, were taken on a tour of Gaza by the Israeli military, along with Admiral Brad Cooper, the top U.S. commander in the region. The later stopped at an Israeli military base where preparations were being made to receive the hostages and hold talks on the military situation in Gaza with commanders. As part of a ceasefire deal that is bringing an end to 2 years of conflict, Gazans are awaiting a surge of humanitarian aid, and Israel is preparing for a handover of around 20 living hostages held by Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited Sheba Medical Center in Ramat Gan on Saturday. Israeli Prime Minister's office in a social media post stated Netanyahu visited the medical facility in order to review preparations for receiving hostages from Gaza after their return to Israel on Monday. Netanyahu, along with several top officials towards the facility, praised the medical teams for their readiness to welcome the hostages and their family. And US President Donald Trump is set to arrive in Israel on Monday morning. During his visit, Trump will hold meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, The tightly scheduled visit also includes private meeting with families of hostages at the Knesset, followed by a public address to Israeli lawmakers. 3 Qatari diplomats were killed and 2 injured in a car crash on Sunday near Egyptian town of Sharm el-Sheikh. Diplomats, an official delegation, had descended on the Red Sea resort town in recent days to negotiate a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release deal. Egyptian state-linked media said 5 Qataris and an Egyptian driver were in the vehicle when it crashed due to loss of control of the steering wheel. The Qatari embassy in Cairo expressed deep sorrow and grief over the 3 diplomats' deaths. Qatar, alongside fellow mediators Egypt and United States, has been involved in months of talks leading to the Gaza ceasefire. Over 8 million Cameroonians prepared to cast their votes on Sunday in a pivotal presidential election. Incumbent Paul Biya, recognized as the world's oldest ruler at 92, faces a rejuvenated opposition after a 43-year reign marked by calls for change. Biya's opponents include former government spokesperson Isha Cheroma, who has drawn large crowds demanding an end to the veteran leader's long tenure. 76-year-old Chiroma's bid has been drawn with endorsements from a platform of some opposition parties and civic groups. Biya eliminated term limits in 2008, has strategically utilized divide and conquer tactics. Despite intensified calls for reform, his centralized power and electoral system dynamics set the stage for likely continuance in office. Opposition leader from the United Seychelles, Patrick Hamini, has won the Seychelles presidential runoff, securing 52.7% of the votes on Sunday. Hamini won the race against incumbent Wavel Ramkalawan's 47.3% as per Electoral Commission, Seychelles' official results. The race followed no majority in September 27 first round, centered on climate vulnerability, rising sea levels, economic pressures and a heroin crisis affecting 10% of the 120,000 population. Hamini pledged to slash living costs, bolster public services, combat drug addiction and cancel a controversial 70-year Qatari lease on Assumption Island near Aldabra, UNESCO site, citing sovereignty interference. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended congratulatory wishes to the newly elected Seychelles president. Posting from his official social media account, he says, and I quote, "Heartiest congratulations to Dr. Patrick Hamini on victory in the presidential elections in Seychelles. The waters of the Indian Ocean are our shared heritage and nourish the aspirations and needs of our people. I'm confident our time-tested, multifaceted relations will deepen and gain further momentum in his tenure as president. My best wishes to him for the tenure ahead." Still to come on DD India Newshour. Iran says it will consider a fair and balanced US nuclear proposal if received. Iconic actress Diana Keaton is no more. What makes Nobel Prize in Economics unique? It will be announced on Monday.
Construction isn't just about steel and concrete. It can also be about restoring a hillside or creating homes that can protect both us and our planet.
This wattle and daub technique is called skin and bone of a structure. So here we have used bamboos cut into strips and weave together as made as a panel. In that gap we fill it with mud and make it as a skin for it.
The trucks would just come by, dump the illegal waste and leave. Then we got some people to help and our Anand urban forest team came into existence. Together we must have cleared about 30 to 40 tons of garbage out of this place.
One of the reasons for this structure that we have created here is to try and see if we can halt or reduce the rate of erosion. This is like a natural embankment for the forest land.
Welcome back. You're watching DT India Newshour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Russian air defense units destroyed 32 Ukrainian drones overnight into Sunday over regions including Moscow, Bryansk and Kursk, according to TASS, citing Russian Defense Ministry. The operation reported this morning involved Pantsir S and S-400 systems with no casualties or significant damage noted. This follows a surge in drone attacks amid escalating tensions, with Ukraine targeting Russian oil refineries, prompting retaliatory strikes on Ukrainian energy infrastructure. Ukrainian officials have not commented, but NATO allies, including Poland, have scrambled jets in response. No further incidents have been reported, although analysts warn of intensified aerial warfare as winter approaches. China's Ministry of Commerce accused the United States of double standards on Sunday, following President Trump's announcement of an additional 100% tariff on all Chinese imports effective November 1st. The unnamed spokesperson labeled the move a typical example of hypocrisy, arguing it ignores U.S. export controls on critical software while punishing Beijing's rare earth restrictions for national security. China vowed to resolutely safeguard its interest and is not afraid to fight, as per the statement, amid escalating tensions that could raise total American tariffs to 130%. As of October 13th, no further U.S. response from the White House. Analysts warn of global supply chain disruptions in electric vehicles and tech. U.S. authorities confirmed on Saturday that no survivors were found following a powerful explosion at a munitions factory in rural Tennessee. 16 people remain missing, are presumed deceased, though 2 previously listed as missing were confirmed not to be on site during the explosion. The announcement came as 18 people remained missing and feared dead following the blast at Accurate Energetic Systems, about 100 kilometers west of Nashville. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that Dan Scavino, his longtime aide, will oversee the selection and appointment of nearly all government positions, a move detailed via Truth Social. This unprecedented delegation covers over 4,000 political roles, including 1,300 Senate-confirmed posts amid government shutdown. Scavino, who has been appointed a White House Deputy Chief of Staff, will work with incoming Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, leveraging his loyalty from Trump's 2016 campaign. The White House confirmed preparations, though legal experts question the authority's constitutionality. Critics warn of centralized power, while supporters hailed efficiency. No congressional response has come yet. Trump has tapped Dan Scavino for these roles of over 4,000 roles in the government, including Senate posts, amid shutdown chaos. A crashed helicopter was found against a bridge in Huntington Beach, Southern California on Saturday afternoon, injuring 5 people just before the annual Cars and Copters fundraising event. 5 people, 2 on board and 3 bystanders were injured, taken to hospital. Emergency crew responded quickly, transporting those injured to a local hospital. Officials are investigating the cause to ensure the safety of future events in the area. In other news, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi stated on Saturday that Tehran would consider a fair and balanced U.S. nuclear proposal if received, but none has been proposed yet. Iran insists on retaining uranium enrichment rights while offering confidence-building measures for its peaceful program. Amid accusations from the U.S., Europe and Israel of weapon pursuit, this follows a June 2025 12-day war involving U.S. strikes on Iranian nuclear sites and stalled prior talks. Araghchi welcomed the Gaza truce but expressed distrust in Israel, calling for International Criminal Court trials of its leaders. He dismissed Trump's suggestion of normalizing ties with Israel as wishful thinking.
We have always firmly said that our negotiations are only on nuclear issue, both in past and in the recently, and we have never ever had any negotiations on issue other than nuclear, especially the resistance with the Americans or anyone else. I want to say that proposals that are based on a mechanism and a formula that is fair, balanced and reasonable will be examined in our opinion.
Taliban forces in Afghanistan launched retaliatory strikes against Pakistani border posts on Saturday, accusing Islamabad of sovereignty-violating airstrikes on Kabul and southeastern regions on October 9th. Heavy clashes erupted in Kunar, Nangarhar, Paktia, Khost, and Helmand province, involving artillery and drones. The Taliban Defense Ministry declared the operation successful and concluded at midnight, but warned of firm responses to future incursions. Pakistani officials reported repelling unprovoked attacks, destroying several Afghan posts and inflicting dozens of casualties. Multiple soldiers were killed in the firefights, escalating tensions amid mutual accusations over harboring Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan terrorists. Iran urged restraint as TTP claimed separate attacks, killing 23 in northwest Pakistan. The Bangladesh Army has detained 15 officers over allegations of crimes against humanity. The move follows arrest warrants issued by International Crimes Tribunal. The 15 Army officers, including 14 still in service, were taken into custody after International Crime Tribunal issued warrants for 30 individuals in 2 separate cases in their alleged role in enforced disappearances and torture. One senior officer remains unaccounted for. The Army says it is committed to justice and awaits the official charge sheet to decide further action. Madagascar's Prime Minister called for calm and unity on Saturday after some soldiers joined youth protesters in Antananarivo on May 13 Square. The protest, inspired by Gen Z-led movements in Kenya and Nepal, began on September 25th over water and electricity shortages, but have since escalated, posing most serious challenge to President Andry Rajoelina's rule since his re-election in 2023. Let's turn to some weather updates now. Floods caused by torrential rains have killed at least 41 people in Mexico in recent days, left behind a trail of destruction. Mexico's civil defense authorities reported intense rainfall in 31 of 32 states, causing rivers to overflow, flooding entire villages, triggering landslides and collapsing roads and bridges. The central state of Hidalgo has been among the worst affected areas, with authorities there reporting at least 22 dead. 1,000 homes have been damaged, 90 communities inaccessible to rescuers. Meanwhile, authorities in areas off the Pacific coast are keeping a close eye on tropical depression Raymond and remnants of Priscilla, which was once a hurricane. Raymond is expected to hit the southern part of Baja California over the weekend, according to U.S. National Hurricane Center. Major U.S. cities like New York and Boston on Saturday braced for powerful coastal storm expected to impact millions along the East Coast. The nor'easter storm is expected to bring heavy rainfall, possible flash flooding from the Carolinas to southern New England. Wind gusts could exceed 89 kilometers per hour along the coastal areas as the storm reaches peak intensity from Sunday into Monday. Flooding disrupted transport on Spanish island of Ibiza for a second time in 2 weeks as heavy rains hit the Mediterranean region. The main motorway to the airport was closed, public transport was halted, and rainwater seeped into the terminal. Operations were suspended for over an hour, with 24 flights cancelled in Mallorca. 19 flights were cancelled, while floodwaters in Ibiza and Formentera left vehicles stranded. Army emergency units were deployed and mass telephone alerts warned residents to avoid unnecessary travel and waterways. Power outages affected hundreds after lightning strikes, with Valencia seeing over 570 storm-related incidents as intense rains continue. The Nobel Prize in Economics honors groundbreaking contributions that shape how we understand markets, behavior and policy. Established in 1968 by Sweden's central bank for its 300th anniversary, the award recognizes pioneers in fields ranging from game theory and behavioral economics to poverty alleviation and financial stability. Though not part of Alfred Nobel's original will, it stands alongside the other Nobel Prizes as one of the most prestigious honors in the world of ideas. Here's more.
The Nobel Prize in Economics, officially the Sveu Rius Riksbank Prize in Economic Sciences, was created in 1968 by Sweden's central bank. Though not part of Alfred Nobel's original will, it's awarded with the other Nobel Prizes and widely recognized as one. The prize honors major advances in economics, spanning theory like game theory, empirical research such as poverty and labor, and impactful policy innovations. The former US Federal Reserve Chair, Ben Bernanke, won the award in 2022 for policy.
From 2006 to 2014, I was involved in a global financial crisis where the problems in the financial sector caused tremendous problems in the real economy, both here and around the world. And this, and thinking about these issues made me very determined to do everything I could, along with my other policymakers, my colleagues, to try to prevent the financial system from melting down.
Though called the Nobel Prize for Economics, many winners weren't economists. Daniel Kahneman, 2002, was a psychologist. Elinor Ostrom, 2009, a political scientist. And John Nash, 1994, a mathematician known for game theory. Joseph Stiglitz, an economist, won the prize in 2001 for extending our understanding of economic measures in society.
Well, GDP was originally created as a measure of market economic activity, but has increasingly become used as a measure of societal well-being. It wasn't designed for that, and it doesn't measure that. And changes in the structure of our economy and our society have made it increasingly poor as an indicator of societal well-being.
Amartya Sen, the only Indian citizen to win the Economics Nobel in 1998, was honored for work on poverty and social choice. Indian-born American Abhijit Banerjee won in 2019 for his experimental approach to fighting global poverty. They joined some of the most influential economists in history to receive the Nobel Prize in Economics. Milton Friedman in 1976, Sir John Hicks 1972, Paul Samuelson 1970, and Robert Solow 1987. Bureau Report, DD India.
The International Union for Conservation of Nature's World Commission on Protected Areas honored 13 rangers from 13 countries with 2025 International Ranger Awards in Abu Dhabi on Sunday. India's Minister of State for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Kirti Vardhan Singh, called them unsung heroes who face dangers from poachers and wild animals every day. The award winners received grant to support conservation efforts in their regions. Singh also released the report Guardians of the Wild, highlighting the sacrifices and challenges faced by these frontline conservation workers.
The very basic platform to start from for any country is to first develop a database of what has traditionally been a part of the natural system in that particular country, and then see where it is being degraded and try to, try to replenish those natural sources.
Oscar-winning actress Diana Keaton has passed away at the age of 79. Her family confirmed the news, asking for privacy during this difficult time. Keaton, best known for her roles in Annie Hall, The Godfather, Father of the Bride, has died. A family spokesperson confirmed that she'd passed away in California. The actress is known for her unique charm, emotional performances, and quirky fashion, was a defining figure in world cinema for over 5 decades. Still to come on DD India Newshour. Historic exposition of Buddha's sacred relics from India begins in Russia's Kalmykia Republic on Saturday. Indian Coast Guard ship Sachet makes a port call in Maputo, Mozambique. 68th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference will conclude in Bridgetown, Barbados on Sunday.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bull's pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Our top stories. Trump directs the Pentagon to use all available funds to pay the military by October 15th, slams Democrats for holding national security hostage. Israeli hostages to be freed from Gaza before peace summit in Egypt. World leaders, including UN chief, to attend the summit to be chaired by Trump and Al-Sisi. Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand to visit India on Sunday. Trade, security and energy on agenda. And in ICC Women's World Cup, host India face 7-time champions Australia in Visakhapatnam. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand is set to embark on a diplomatic visit to India on Sunday. During her visit to India, Anand will hold meetings with External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Commerce Industry Minister Piyush Goyal in New Delhi. The discussions will focus on advancing a framework for strategic cooperation encompassing trade diversification, energy transformation and security issues. In addition to Delhi, Anand will travel to Mumbai to engage with Canadian and Indian businesses, fostering investment, job creation and economic opportunities in both Canada and India. The 68th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference will conclude on Sunday in Bridgetown, Barbados. After a week of robust deliberations under the theme The Commonwealth, a Global Partner, hosted by Parliament of Barbados and CPA Barbados Branch from October 5th to 12th. The event drew over 600 delegates from over 180 legislatures, including India's lower house Speaker Om Birla. Highlights featured 9th Commonwealth Women Parliamentarians Conference, CPWD network meetings, and 3rd Emilia Monjova Lifaka lecture. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley hailed CPA's role in unity with no disruptions reported per official updates. Historic exposition of Buddha's sacred relics from India begins in Russia's Kalmykia Republic on Saturday. The relics from New Delhi's National Museum were transported via Indian Air Force aircraft with a delegation led by Uttar Pradesh Deputy Chief Minister Keshav Prasad Maurya. Thousands of devotees welcomed them in Elista, marking a first for the region, organized by India's Ministry of Culture and International Buddhist Confederation. The 8-day event at Kedan Shedap Choikonling Monastery includes blessings, teachings by Sakya Tirzin Rinpoche, MOU signing, holy test presentation, exhibitions on Buddhist art and relics history. Under Secretary General for Peace Operations Jean-Pierre Lacroix has praised the upcoming UN troop contributing countries Chiefs Conclave hosted by Indian Army in New Delhi. The conclave will be held from October 14th to 16th, scheduled at Manekshaw Center. The event will gather senior military leaders from over 30 nations, key contributions to UN peacekeeping to enhance cooperation and dialogue.
Dear colleagues and friends, I commend the Government of India for organizing this much-needed conclave. It provides a vital space for UN troop and police contributing countries to exchange lessons, strengthen cooperation and deepen collaboration, all in the pursuit of peace. The world today calls for leadership and for our collective resolve to end the many conflicts that have erupted across the globe. There is irrefutable evidence that peacekeeping remains one of the most powerful tools the international community can wield to prevent, to mitigate, and to end conflict. But peacekeeping is only as strong as those who serve as peacekeepers. I thank you for your service, your dedication, and your many sacrifices. I look forward to engaging with you all in person for a better future and a better tomorrow.
Indian Coast Guard ship Sachet, an offshore patrol vessel, made a port call in Maputo, Mozambique on Saturday as part of its ongoing overseas deployment to Africa. ICGS Sachet's visit aims to enhance the capacity of Mozambican maritime agencies to address maritime crime, maritime search, rescue environmental emergencies, thereby ensuring a safer and more sustainable marine ecosystem. The visit will also serve to showcase India's shipbuilding capabilities, supporting the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The deployment is in line with India's broader maritime vision, encapsulated in security and growth for all in the region, which aims to enhance regional security and cooperation, furthering India's commitment to humanitarian assistance. The vessel is carrying 20 metric tons of humanitarian assistance and disaster relief material, which includes medical stores and medicines. Between the hills of Mayang and the forest of Pabitora, one can find Biraj Ballabh Nath, the postman who acts as a bridge between the village and the dreams of its people. For the last 2 years, Biraj has been delivering connections and care to every doorstep. His daily routes along the Pabitora Wildlife Sanctuary, where the endangered one-horned rhinoceros roam freely, but amid this wild beauty, Biraj's rhythm stays steady. One letter, one parcel, one smile at a time. For 2 years, rains or shine, Biraj has kept his promise, connecting homes tucked between history and wilderness. His postbag may be light, but the trust it carries is immense. Through forest, folklore and friendships, Biraj keeps the rhythm of connection alive. His journey isn't just delivery, it's India post-promise, carried with pride through Assam's most extraordinary lands. Let's now turn to other stories making news today. Manisha Saini, a dance choreographer with 15 years of experience, danced Garba non-stop for 24 hours and 7 minutes, earning a place in Asia and India Book of Records. Her goal was to promote Gujarati's cultural dance and its devotional roots. She now plans to pursue a Guinness World Record and support causes like child hunger and feeding street dogs. Ayodhya is glowing with festive spirit ahead of Grand Deepotsav celebrations, with preparations echoing the theme Vocal for Local. The surge in demand for traditional Indian-made products has empowered local craftspersons and brought the spotlight back to India's rich cultural roots, aligning with Prime Minister Modi's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The National Security Guard organized a 75-kilometer cyclothon in memory of Ashok Chakra awardee Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan, who sacrificed his life during 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. The route spanned from Gateway of India to Navi Mumbai and Powai. The event aimed to raise awareness about cervical cancer and its prevention. Still to come on DD India Newshour. Valentin Vacherov stuns Djokovic in Shanghai Masters. 20th edition of Delhi Half Marathon kicked off 5 a.m. this morning. And what horses mean to a community in Vietnam.
Goa, an adventure paradise like none other. From lush forests to rugged hills, from pristine ocean beach stretches to stunning lakes, there is something to explore in every corner of the state. And some adventures are wilder than others. Watch Postcards from Goa on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Time now for all the action from the world of sports. The country's national capital woke up to the spirit of fitness today. 20th edition of Delhi Half Marathon kicked off from Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. Thousands of runners, including elite athletes and amateurs, took to the streets of Delhi. The route passed through iconic landmarks like India Gate, Major Dhyan Chand Stadium. With cheers, energy and determination all round, Delhi ran together for a cause. India's spinners dominated West Indies in the second test match, maintaining their strong position after captain Shubman Gill's impressive century on Saturday. West Indies ended the day at 140 for 4, trailing India by 378 runs at Delhi's Arun Jaitley Stadium. Left-arm spinner Ravindra Jadeja claimed 3 wickets, while Shai Hope scoring 31 and Tevin Imlach on 14 remain at crease at stumps. Gill demonstrated exceptional leadership with an unbeaten 129, marking his 5th century of the year in 8 tests. This comes after Yashasvi Jaiswal was dismissed for 175 early in the second day. West Indies began their response to India's declared total of 518 for 5, with Tagdarain Chandrapal and Alec Atnaz showing brief resistance, scoring 34 and 41 respectively before the dismissals. Jadeja dismissed Chandrapal when KL Rahul caught his edge at slip. Kuldeep Yadav then removed Atnaze, followed by Roston Chase's duck in the next over of Jadeja's bowling. And action in the ICC Women's World Cup 2025 continues to heat up as host India take on Australia in Visakhapatnam on Sunday. Led by Harmanpreet Kaur, India will be eager to bounce back after suffering their first loss of the campaign against South Africa. Despite the setback, the women in blue remain in strong position, sitting third on the points table with 2 wins from 3 matches.
Yet another thrilling weekend is here with a lot of cricketing action as the Indian women are all set to take on the mighty Australian side at the ongoing ICC Women's Cricket World Cup. The league stage match will take place at the ACA VDCA Stadium in Visakhapatnam, where Team India recently faced South Africa. In this particular tournament, Team India comes at the back of 2 victories, one against Sri Lanka and the other against Pakistan. However, Team India lost to South Africa in their 3rd league stage encounter. On the other hand, Australia have registered heavy victories against New Zealand and Pakistan and a washout against Sri Lanka. The head-to-head favours the Australians in the ODI format, where Australia won 48 matches out of 59. However, before their World Cup outing, Team India beat Australia in the second ODI at New Chandigarh. Kranti Gaur took crucial wickets in the winning match of the second ODI between India and Australia. Not only this, Smriti Mandhana hit 2 consecutive centuries as well in the recently concluded ODI series against the Aussies.
हम लोग भी एकदम पॉजिटिव माइंडसेट से जा रहे हैं और हम लोगों ने पास्ट में भी उन लोगों के साथ मैचेस खेले हैं और उनको हराया भी है, तो मतलब कोशिश यही रहेगी कि हम लोग अपना बेस्ट दें. वी हैव बीन प्लानिंग रियली वेल और सब लोग क्लियर हैं अपने माइंड में और क्या करना है सबको क्लैरिटी है. हमने ऑस्ट्रेलिया का स्टाइल बहुत टाइम से देखा है कि वो एग्रेसिव ही आते हैं, बट ऑन द अदर हैंड हमारे प्लान्स भी बहुत ज़्यादा क्लियर हैं और जो भी हम लोग मीटिंग्स में बात कर रहे हैं, हम लोगों ने डिस्कशंस की हैं, कुछ प्लानिंग्स करी हैं एंड लेट्स होप कि हम लोग पॉजिटिव स्टार्ट दें.
Talking about the pitch report, this is the same surface where India faced South Africa. The pitch surface at the ACA VDCA Stadium in Visakhapatnam is expected to be flat and dry, with conditions getting better for batting as the game progresses. The match becomes even more crucial because India from here needs to win at least 3 matches for strong chances to secure a semis spot.
Team India is now all set to play its 4th encounter of the ongoing ICC Women's Cricket World Cup in the league stage group match. And here, as we know, that Australia is the 7-time World Cup winner, but Team India is also no less. In the recently concluded ODI series, Team India recorded the historic victory against the Aussies, beating them by 102 runs in New Chandigarh. Now, that was the same series in which Smriti Mandhana also hit 2 consecutive centuries and Kranti Gaur took very crucial wickets. Now, let's see how Team Australia is going to perform against Team India at the ACA VDCA International Cricket Stadium, where Team DD India is currently present, and we'll get you all the latest and live reports from here. With camera person Ashish, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from Vizag.
Let's now connect with Deepika live. She's joining us live from Vizag. Deepika, clash of heavyweights today. What does the contest look like?
Good morning, Shubhendu. Today it's a very crucial contest for Team India as well as for Team Australia. We already know of the fact that Team Australia have won the World Cup 7 times and they are the clear favourites this time. But however, Team India is also no less. The head-to-head may also favour Team Australia, but also we also have to remember the fact that when in the ongoing series before the beginning of the ODI World Cup against Australia, Team India recorded a historic victory, winning against Australia by 102 runs in New Chandigarh in the second ODI. Now in that 3-match ODI series, Smriti Mandhana also hit 2 consecutive centuries, and also Kranti Gaur, who's now just 10 ODIs old, took crucial wickets of that Australian team. So there Australia is very much aware of the fact that Team India can go aggressive. Team India can become a big match player when it comes to crucial matches, because they've seen the performance recently only in New Chandigarh and New Delhi when they played Team India at both the venues. And also now talking about the playing lineup, however the top order has failed to deliver in the past matches, and so was the case in South Africa's match against Team India, which was at the same pitch, which is the ACA BDCA Stadium in Vizag. But again, yesterday also Sneh Rana, who attended the pre-match press conference, she said that she's very confident the team is planning to go very aggressively against Team Australia, and they have analysed every move of Team Australia as well as every point about Team India as well, and whatever they are lacking, they are going to work on it. They have already worked on it, and they are all set and prepared to face Team Australia at the ACA BDCA Stadium today, Shubhendu.
Right. Deepika, it looks like a sunny day. But how are the playing conditions like today?
Shubhendu, the sky is going to be clear, and the temperature will hover somewhere around 32 degrees Celsius throughout the day. Later in the day, it's going to be humid, of course, and later in the day, we are also expecting some sort of dew, because that was also the case between India and South Africa. And when we talk about the pitch conditions, the pitch is going to be dry and flat, so which means that there is a very good scope for the batters to maintain a very good scoring rate today against their opponent. So let's see here, because it is a flat and dry pitch, the weather is humid and the pitch is flatter. The toss is going to play a very crucial role, because whosoever teams wins the toss will choose to bowl first. So that is also going to be a crucial factor depending on the weather conditions, which are very much likely to be very clear today, Shubhendu, which means a full 50-over ODI match is expected.
Deepika, appreciate you joining us with those updates. India's Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports, Dr. Mansukh Mandavia, participated in a special edition of Fit India Sundays on cycle this morning in New Delhi. Starting at Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium, joined by World Para Athletics Championship 2025 medalists, the event celebrated India's 22-medal haul with over 1,000 participants. The minister also felicitated athletes, awarding 1.09 crore in cash prizes, and lauded their resilience as Par Athletes of India. Launched under PM Modi's Fit India movement, the rally promotes fitness and inclusivity, with participation surging to over 10,500 locations nationwide. Namibia stunned South Africa in what was a historic 4-wicket T20 win over neighbours South Africa in the first meeting between the two sides on Saturday, playing their first international match on home turf at Namibia Cricket Ground. They restricted the Proteas to 134 for 8 in their 20 overs. In reply, Namibia completed the chase on last ball, courtesy of some late hitting by wicketkeeper Zane Green, who played an unbeaten and match-winning knock of 30 runs in just 23 balls. South Africa is the fourth full member nation that Namibia has defeated in T20 internationals after Ireland, Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka. The match was arranged to inaugurate the Namibia Cricket Ground, which will be one of the venues for the 2027 Cricket World Cup in South Africa, Zimbabwe and Namibia. In tennis, one of the biggest upsets of the year, world number 204, Valentin Vacherov, stunned Novak Djokovic 6-3, 6-4 to reach the Shanghai Masters final on Saturday. Vacherov became lowest-ranked player to get an ATP Masters 1000 final since the series was introduced in 1990. Prasar has put together one of the most shocking runs at the tournament, winning 8 matches over the past 2 weeks. That has included victories over the number 14 seed Alexander Bublik, Holger Rune alongside this win over Djokovic. His fairy tale run will climax at the final on Sunday, where he will clash with his cousin Arthur Ridneck. In a community in Qua Hoa district, Vietnam, horses are more than just helpers in the field. They represent hope, hard work and a brighter future. For many families here, raising and caring for these animals is a tradition that continues to bring prosperity and pride to their mountain homeland. As herders watch over their herds grazing across the grassland, the bond between people and horses remain a powerful symbol of resilience and growth.
Nếu 10 con ngựa đẹp thì cũng được khoảng 500 triệu. Làm giàu từ du lịch đấy, nhưng mà phải giữ đồi cỏ.
That's all for this edition of DD India Newshour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on your screens. Download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Newshour. Namaskar.